Welcome to Intuitive Astrology with Molly McCord. Thank you so much for joining me today, as this is a Monday podcast episode where we focus on a particular astrological topic or theme. And today we're going to discuss the wild influence of Uranus, now direct in Taurus at 23 degrees, and how this Uranian energy is going to be quite big and influential for the rest of 2025. Uranus stationed direct at 23 degrees 15 minutes of Taurus on January 30th, which also coincided with the Aquarius new moon, bringing about shocking developments, actions, announcements, changes, which of course have been in the collective for the past few weeks. And as Uranus starts to move forward here, covering territory that it's already covered in Taurus, there's going to be even more shakeups, wake-ups, changes, and instability. And that's what I'm going to focus on in today's show. Some of the important themes I also want to highlight here is that this Uranus is going to be moving through all of the remaining degrees of Taurus and then entering Gemini July 7th, 2025. However, Uranus will be returning into Taurus later in 2025, specifically re-entering the sign of the Bull on November 8th. Will retrograde back to 27 degrees 28 minutes of Taurus and then finally be complete in Taurus when Uranus re-enters and stays in Gemini the end of April 2026, specifically April 26, 2026. This means that Uranus is moving between elements and modalities. Uranus in Taurus is a fixed earth sign. It is stirring up our assumed values, stabilities, finances, parts of our world, parts of ourselves that we thought would always be concrete and certain. And here comes Uranus blasting through that concrete since 2018. So this is important to evaluate for yourself, is looking back on the past 7 years or so and to understand how Uranus has deeply and significantly changed the Taurus areas of your life. Uranus tends to work in extremes. It can be the high highs, the low lows, and then everything in between, but it all keeps moving. It can be very sudden and abrupt. It can be the blind sides and the shocks, and it's meant to keep you in an ongoing state of growth and evolution, which, let's be honest, that can be very overwhelming and exhausting at times. So no worries if this Uranus in Taurus has been exhausting in your life. That is simply how it works when it's moving through the energies of Taurus. Taurus doesn't want change. Taurus wants to know what it can count on, where to go that will always be the same, where there's certainty. But with Uranus here, there's been a lack of that certainty. It's been more exciting, jarring, and deeply stimulating growth, deeply requiring you to look at parts of yourself that maybe you didn't want to see or you didn't want to challenge. Uranus takes us to the edge. It takes us into more of our own untapped potentials. And that can be wildly uncomfortable. So Uranus has been working with the fixed earth energy, and that isn't an easy match. This is not an energy that has felt like it's been smooth sailing by any means, because it can have these very abrupt stops and starts. And it also is where that Uranian energy gets the pushback from Taurus, the resistance of, I'm not going to do that. I don't want to do that. Well, then Uranus ups the ante. Uranus raises the stakes and says, actually, you are going to change, or you are going to go in this direction, or I am going to take you here, because there's something that you're meant to understand from a bigger perspective. The Uranian energy is connected to cosmic intelligence, the brilliant universal mind, quantum solutions and possibilities that we wouldn't normally understand, seek out, or connect with. So it's almost like Uranus comes in, grabs that comfortable blanket off of you on the couch, says we're leaving, we're not staying here, puts you in a rocket ship, and changes some part of yourself and your experience permanently. So this Uranian energy in Taurus has been stirring up what we thought we could always count on in ourselves, in our lives, in our values, and also, of course, shifting our collective value systems, changing up our collective understandings of what we think is socially acceptable or what we want in our world. It's asking us to look at our own resistance or stubbornness, where we've had a sense of, I don't want to do that, I'm holding back. And then Uranus will come in with even more drastic changes to move us along. And so as Uranus will enter Gemini July 7th, 2025, for the first time since 1941, Uranus is now going to be very fast moving through the mutable air qualities of Gemini. And what happens is that we have new understandings about what we want, which is Taurus. Because Uranus has made that Taurus energy churn and change and be more flexible, now in Gemini, we have a new level of awareness around what to do with it, a new understanding of what has meaning to you, what is worth your time, energy, and effort, what you want to create, and how to do so in a way that activates more of that throat chakra expression, new ideas, new concepts, new stories, new communications, new ways of expressing yourself based on this more evolved understanding of what is crucial to you in this lifetime. So Uranus is moving back and forth here between Taurus and Gemini in 2025 and 2026, and it's going to continue to create a lack of stability. There's going to be things that you think you want and then you get rid of, or things that you think you want to create and move towards and then realize, nah, it doesn't really match. It's too connected to the past. And that's because with Uranus, we are being guided to trust our spark of genius, to do that wild, crazy, zany idea that's never been done before, to try something that feels like a risk. And Uranus is a risk taker. Again, moves us to the edge of possibilities, takes us into unknown territory that we don't know how to understand at first. But that's the journey. That's the excitement, rather, is to play and try and see what happens. Uranus is the mad scientist that experiments and wants to play with possibilities. So keep in mind that as this energy unfolds, especially into 2026, you're going to have some brilliant breakthroughs, and you could feel like you're either meant to run with it and go with it quickly, or it's on pause. Almost like, wait, I got this huge download, this huge inspiration. I have all this energy coming through for this thing that I'm excited about, that's beautiful, that is creative and expansive, but it's on pause. If it's on pause, it's probably on pause until 2026, when Uranus enters Gemini again in late April, and then you might feel that the energy is stronger and able to come out with greater flow. Uranus is stronger in Gemini, and that's because Gemini is ruled by Mercury. Mercury, the messenger, is the fastest moving planet in our solar system, and the higher octave of Mercury is Uranus. So they have an innate intelligent connection. It's almost like they have an alignment of frequencies that just flows and opens up. Uranus is more sparky and alive because that Gemini energy is open to it all and loves the surprises, loves the unexpected. Also keep in mind that when Uranus was discovered in 1780, it was discovered in the sign of Gemini. It was discovered in the energy of communications. And here we have more expansive, surprising cosmic communications with Uranus in Gemini. So know that what we are moving through here is a transition point between where you've been resisting change that is imminent and right on time in terms of the divine galactic clock that is astrology, and then the energy of fast moving information, insights, projects, plans happening with that Uranus and Gemini energy that again will begin in 2025, begins July 7th, 2025 until November 8th, 2025. So I wanted to give you a heads up that that's where the energy is going. That's where it's moving. And to note that you could already feel potentials and possibilities bubbling up as Uranus gets closer to entering Gemini. However, before we get there, Uranus does have its final months in Taurus and has some very important aspects and energies that it will be influencing. Uranus in Taurus has been stirring up resources, finances, the economy, how we make money, what we possess, what we own. Taurus is about what we accumulate and what we take in because we want it. We feel that it's important or valuable. And this is where people have also had some big life changes around understanding, how do I want to live my life? Do I want to own property? Do I want to stay in one place? Or do I want to be on the road? Do I want to be more of a nomad? Do I want to be free and not be trapped down by anything? So you could look at this too as how we have more digital nomads on the planet, the ability to work in different places, to move around, whether that is internationally or nationally. Uranus in Taurus has also been showing us more ways we can make money through the gig culture, hustling, being able to do something on the side that brings in additional income. The rise of Uber and Lyft is a great demonstration of this energy, as it's where we're using our own personal resources, Taurus, to do something new and different that connects with people, that provides a service, and that is out of the box. So here we have the ability to look at, well, what do I have and what can I do in a new or different way based on my own personal resources? This would also be the rise of Airbnb over the past number of years. You could also say it's the decline of some of these energies too, where there are things that the collective was excited about for a while, but they don't have the longevity, or they aren't as beneficial or useful as initial forecasts might have expected. Uranus in Taurus relates to finances, financial markets, the economy. It certainly relates to the rise of crypto, Bitcoin, and the digital currencies that have become widespread and commonly used, as well as the instability in those markets. Uranus in Taurus is where you can make a fast buck, but then maybe you lose it overnight as part of that instability and sudden changes. Now, as we look at these themes and then look at the astrology here of Uranus in Taurus until July 2025, and that's what I'm going to focus on more specifically. This Uranus in Taurus is going to continue to have a wild ride, and there are a few key points I want to focus on. Now, do keep in mind that I have done previous podcast episodes for you on Uranus and Taurus, and I did one specifically discussing how Uranus and Taurus at 27 degrees is going to square the natal USA moon at 27 degrees of Aquarius. That was a separate podcast I did for you back in August 2024 when Uranus first reached that point, that 27 degree point. So in that episode, I discussed the themes even more, but I have to touch on it here because these energies of Uranus in Taurus squaring the USA natal moon lasts into early 2026. Okay, so this is your heads up that everything related to a country's natal moon sign is working with the public, the collective, families, homes, local environments, your local community, your neighborhood, especially with the moon in Aquarius, which is the neighborhood, the HOA, apartment complexes, condos, collective living spaces where you're sharing walls and sharing joint spaces. The moon in a chart is the people and how the people are living their lives, going about their everyday routines and experiencing the energy of a country. And here we have this ongoing drastic change that's going to be stimulated again when Uranus gets to 27 degrees of Taurus, which initially started in August 2024 and will happen again the second half of May 2025, specifically May 12th through May 30th. And then again, as we close out 2025 and begin 2026, Uranus will be hanging out at that 27-degree point for 2.5 months. For the first 2.5 months in 2026. So this is going to be working directly with the USA's natal moon, and this certainly signifies financial issues, economic fluctuations and changes, more going on with trade, tariffs, inflation, the stock market, national resources, resources from the earth, which is Taurus, interest rates, changing, perhaps even drastically. The extremes of Uranus come through, whether it's the big highs, big lows, crashes, bankruptcies, whatever's been overinflated and cannot be maintained. Taurus wants there to be responsible energetic use of what you can maintain and handle. So if anything has been too high, too much, overinflated, that's where this energy is going to strike and be felt the most. So if, for example, you have too much financial debt, too much in terms of loans, what you don't own, let's put it that way, what you don't own is what's going to come to light, because Taurus wants you to own things, wants you to accumulate, have them, be in full possession. And if anything is taking you out of that power of ownership, that's what's weak here. That's what is going to be drastically destabilized and going to be revealed. So we're going to see our own excess even more as that Uranus in Taurus squares the natal USA moon in Aquarius at 27 degrees. So consider this a heads up. I know I've been mentioning this for a number of years, and I stand behind it, that the economy is not stable. There are many agendas at play here, especially when we look through a global perspective. And Uranus in Taurus is focus on your own. Focus on what you need, what's good for your family, what's crucial and important for you, your loved ones, your lifestyle, and then get rid of the rest. Look at where you have excess or too much that isn't fully yours. So this is where it's a good time to look at what you need to sell, what you need to buy, what you need to downsize, what you need to get rid of or streamline. I think of this in terms of all of these streaming services that we now use to replace cable, and that you could have accounts with Netflix, Amazon Prime, Hulu, Disney Plus. But how many do you really need? And are you saving money, or does it all just add up to be even more than what cable would cost? Just an example, and I know that's different for every single person, but it's looking at, okay, what do I really need and use? What is not needed? And this is a way for you to get ahead of the game and to be in charge of all of your energy, especially all of your financial energy, because of how the energy is in Taurus. Can you refinance? Can you pay off something? Can you get rid of something? These would be the questions to ask, because the other way this works is that Uranus then liberates you from that worry or that uncertainty and returns you to a greater sense of core strength. This is what I own. This is what I manage. This is what I have control over. This also includes goods, services, products, and all resources that you need in your life. And with the ongoing shifts and changes here, where there will continue to be big developments, especially in trade. And this Uranus and Taurus is about contracts, trade negotiations that we are currently seeing as I record this here in early February 2025. That will continue. That is going to be part of what we're going to look at and understand, okay, when I go to the store, what do I really need? What do I really want? And what perhaps have I just been buying out of habit? And now it's time to reevaluate that, or rather update it. Update it according to your lifestyle habits now, and make sure it's based on the present moment, not what has always been or what you've always done. Now, another significant influence that Uranus is going to have on our world and on our individual lives here is going to show up during the March 14th Virgo Lunar Eclipse. The Virgo Lunar Eclipse will have the moon and the south node conjunct in Virgo. The moon will be at 23 degrees Virgo, and the south node will be at 27 degrees of Virgo. That means the sun and the north node will be in the opposite opposite points in Pisces. The sun will be conjunct Saturn as well at 22 degrees of Pisces. So you're going to have a big standoff of energies between the Pisces and Virgo areas of your chart. And here comes Uranus at 24 degrees of Taurus, sextiling the sun and Saturn, but trining the south node and moon in Virgo. This means that what needs to go is going to go. And this is going to be a time of big changeovers in all Virgo areas of our lives. And Uranus is going to accelerate the changes. That trine from Uranus in Taurus working with the south node and the moon. Again, the moon, right? You're seeing the theme here. We have another big energy working with the moon, means that changes are coming in the workplace. Changes are showing up in more of our earthly experiences. So specifically in this chart, we have that earth sign energy in Taurus and Virgo. Our world is changing. We know that, but it's changing at a practical everyday level. And this particular March Virgo Lunar Eclipse is going to show you what needs to be replaced, up-leveled, upgraded, changed, closed out. And it could feel like a relief. It could feel like you're being set free from a responsibility or obligation or something that you've had to do. This could also show up as even more changes in the job market, which I have discussed at length in my North Node, South Node course, because the Virgo energies are going to be ending various jobs, work, daily responsibilities, places that you've gone or places you go. It's signaling that a change in what we need in our world is showing up through the job market, in business, through companies' needs, especially as more technology, AI, and solutions are showing up to automate and streamline various jobs and occupations. This is where a lot of people are going to be looking for that next thing. And I know that many of you were born in the 1960s. And so you have this axis very strong in your chart. You have the energies of Virgo, Uranus and Pluto in Virgo, and then potentially Saturn and or Chiron in Pisces. And so you are actually being set free from karma you've already fulfilled. And it's important to give you an encouraging spin on this, to understand that the changes we're moving through signify that you're meant to move on to the next dream, the next area of development that excites you and lights you up, that doesn't feel like it's as intense or heavy with karma, responsibility, things you have to do out of a sense of service that could be rooted in a previous lifetime. So the changes are going to be happening really fast, and they are going to continue in March and into April as this Uranus and Taurus interacts with the South Node in Virgo. We're going to be discovering new ways of making money, following a passion or a joy, understanding that you can be paid for doing what you love. It also is a shift in our cultural understanding of work, where previously, and even still in modern times, we associate work with a 9 to 5, but that is changing. It's continuing to change, and there's going to be sweeping changes, cultural changes and cultural expectations about what that could be next and what that really looks like. You know, personally, I vote for a 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. workday with an hour lunch in between, but anything is possible here as we're opening up to more expansive ways of using our energy. Using our energy and what we receive in return is going to be shifting and affecting us at a higher collective level. We're going to have new ways of using our energy that assist with our professional lives, as well as our home lives, our family values, our family needs. And this can also steer us in the direction of living a more balanced, well-rounded life. And that would be another way to approach these changes, is that the universe is asking you to look at, well, what do you want that would be good for you in this lifetime? What are you understanding is important to you that maybe you thought you had to push away or deny, or you didn't want to even dream about because it seemed so far-fetched? Well, this would be an opportunity to invite that energy in closer and to say that with everything that's shifting and changing at this time, it's all possible. It's all opening up. So dream bigger, expand your vision of what it means to have a job, a purpose, a life that you love, and including in all the other components that also feed you, that give you a sense of gratitude and appreciation for what you can experience in life. Maybe you need more downtime, more travel time, more fun time, more activities, more hobbies, more things that you go to because it helps to rebalance your energy. It could also be important to look at it as there are ways to get out of the heavy focus on the mind and return into the present reality of the body, of our intuition, of receiving guidance and feeling that it's wonderful to trust it and to move towards it without the mind shutting it down or limiting us, and opening up to new ways of living here that sustain us at a whole new level. So that's part of these changes. That's the bigger picture of these changes. And so yes, it is very stressful and hard to lose a job or to see that certain industries are fading out and are no longer needed, no longer beneficial. All of that triggers our survival energies. It triggers us at a primal level that is very real, that is very much a part of the human experience. So I don't want to overshadow that because it can stir up a lot of stress around what do I do next? But keep in mind that there will be an answer or solution. And with Uranus, it could just be for the short term. It could be the thing where you take that job because it's presented itself and you can do it for 6 months or a year before the next job opens up or the next possibility is clear. So with this energy being so unstable, it will be necessary to remain flexible, to go with what's presented, to not be resistant to change, to stay open to what you can do for now. It's all about adaptability as well. So knowing that, yes, some people are going to not have a job they've held for decades. It's going to be removed. It's also part of the strong Pisces energy that we're encountering. Big endings are unfolding. Big chapters are closing out, and people are going to feel lost at times, uncertain, very powerless, a sense of what do I do? Where do I turn? And know that the universe is always going to show up with whatever that next step or option may be, but you have to choose it. You have to show up and understand that it doesn't have to be for my next long-term job, but it can be good for right now. It can support me in what I have to take care of, in what is essential, and then know that that will lead to the next opportunity. So for some people, they could feel like they are jumping between lily pads. And that would be a strong theme with this Uranus in Taurus energy, especially working with the South Node in Virgo. Now, because it's a trine, that means the next opportunity does show up. The next lily pad will present itself. So understand that that's going to help with taking care of the next steps and knowing that you will have ways to move forward and options to choose. So again, that March 14th Virgo Lunar Eclipse is also going to be a time of big change, as we will all be changing our daily lives, our daily habits, understanding what we need in our lifestyle that's truly healthy and good for our energies. Now, as we get into May and June 2025, that's when Uranus will be making that next exact square to the USA natal moon in Aquarius. And that's also when Uranus will be activating the Pleiadian degree points in Taurus. Now, this is a stronger cosmic influence of Pleiadian downloads that will be sweeping in and supporting us in our collective growth and evolution. The Pleiadian energies are allies, if you will, in the cosmos and want humanity to evolve in practical, healthy ways, and also will offer new genius insights and solutions that perhaps we would not have understood on our own. This is where we could have a greater understanding of Earth's cosmic story. We can understand more about how this planet has been beneficial and useful in the cosmos, as well as how the resources on our planet have been used, have been removed from the planet, have been taken elsewhere. There are some earthly resources that can no longer be found on the planet, at least not as readily, but we could have new ways of working with what we have now in our modern lives that we didn't think of previously. As I say that, I'm getting the download of the importance of silica, lithium, iron, graphite, platinum, iridium, palladium, and other precious metals and minerals that are mined. There could be a run on these resources. There could be a sense of urgency around many of them. In fact, I'm making a connection here between the minerals of the earth, minerals, metals, anything from our natural resources that are used in our electronics, that are used to create smart cities, devices, technology, that it's running on these resources. And that's why there could be more of a run on these precious metals and minerals that maybe we don't know much about. I feel that it's very secretive, by the way. I'm feeling like a lot has been going on behind the scenes to accumulate these minerals, resources, metals. I'm also seeing a lot of mining on the moon and a lot going on that is needed for these next level technology advancements. I'm seeing that there's been stockpiling of a lot of these resources and that they are being transported and moved around. I'm seeing them in tunnels. I'm seeing them in those big cargo containers as well as in a lot of trucks. So this is all part of the theme here of Uranus and Taurus moving into Gemini, is that it's looking at what is being used and what is required in order to advance the Gemini communications, transportations, and lifestyles that are happening and being developed, especially in the second half of our decade here. Uranus is the great revealer, which results in the surprises, shocks, and unexpected news and developments that come about when we're undergoing a strong Uranian influence. And as this planet connects with these Pleiadian degree points, we're going to have more breakthroughs and understandings around how we're connected to a bigger cosmic family and cosmic intelligence. We're certainly going to have more activations in the cosmic frequencies. This can show up as brilliant breakthroughs, innovations, and expansive creativity. Uranus can provide a quick opening, like blasting through something with dynamite in order to get to the other side or to reveal what we're meant to see and know. Our planet has had cosmic visitors for centuries, and there could be new revelations around what we've been learning and discovering based on this extraterrestrial knowledge, experiments, information, and hidden agendas. Many people are going to have more awakenings around their sovereignty, their independence, what they want to do in their life, because it pertains to more of their soul purpose and soul mission than they even considered. So there's going to be more of these breaking out, breaking free energies as the Uranus energy connects to the Pleiadian degree points. And those frequencies open up more of an individual's cellular intelligence. I'm seeing this as blasts of information that are downloaded or understood, incoming rays of soul guidance that is very unique to each person. Perhaps even a sense that you're traveling light years ahead. You're advancing into a new paradigm that also holds your unique frequency and provides insights into what you've created across other cosmic locations, environments, planets. Again, big downloads into experiences you've had, and now there's a sense of, this is what I need to do in my life. This is what matters to me because I'm connecting to more of my fullness and my vastness outside of the physical, outside of this present moment on this earthly reality. There's this big opening into more of what your energy is capable of, and this can certainly spark significant life changes. As Uranus continues through Taurus, we're becoming more comfortable with the big changes that are unfolding and the fact that there are no guarantees. The changes are only going to accelerate and increase as Uranus moves into Gemini, where it will stay for the next 7 years. So we're living in a dynamic period of change, and I know that that is repeated over and over again here in the astrology, but this gives you a heads up that we are phasing out one version of life. There are parts of your life that are never going to look the same. They're never going to go back to what they were. We're going to see it happen rather quickly in some areas of our lives, and there's going to be some realizations decisions that you get just as quickly around what matters to you and what doesn't. So don't be surprised if on one Monday morning you wake up and something's really important to you, and then by Friday you're done with it, it's complete, you're clearing it out, and you've realized this is not something that I want to put energy into, this no longer connects with me, and I'm ready to purge it or throw it out the window. As Uranus moves into Gemini, we're also going to have a big shift in our consciousness, and we're going to be feeling that our nervous systems are also speeding up. So keep in mind that Uranus connects directly to your nervous system and how you're feeling and sensing all of these fast-moving changes as they're unfolding in the world. So be sure to have ways of taking care of your nervous system, ways of detaching, stepping away from the digital environments and devices. Make sure you have ways of calming the body, the heartbeat, the mind, and to return to trusting yourself, trusting the divine, or wherever you go for that bigger picture perspective that you can lean into even more, even as all of the significant changes unfold on the planet. These energies do suggest that we're going to be uncomfortable at times, that there will be challenges and disappointments as things we relied upon are no longer available. What used to be easy and convenient could be challenging and more difficult, or could take longer. And on the other side, we're going to also have some things that become easier. They become more streamlined and convenient. But the balancing mechanisms are going to take time. The ability to remain agile will be key, but it can also help to strengthen your core sense of self and values, your core sense of trust, also your physical core, and to turn to parts of your life that stabilize you, that you can go to easily and freely in order to care for your energy and to trust the developments that are ready to arrive as well. There can be a lot of exciting advancements with this strong Uranus energy. Again, there can be breakthroughs, there can be things you've been waiting on that finally show up and you feel set free. Keep in mind that Uranus is about liberation from the status quo, from tradition, from what was into what is now ready. There's a sense of freedom with Uranus, and you might feel that this is something you welcome and gives you relief, especially if you have felt trapped, stagnant, or heavily burdened by an area of life. So you want to identify where you have the last degrees of Taurus in your chart. We'll actually call it 23 to 29 degrees of Taurus, as this is where Uranus is moving through your chart by house placement, stirring up exciting developments, asking you to be able to move quickly, to be aware of sudden changes, to stay open to the shifts and possibilities that are ready to come through, to be aware of what you're resisting, of where you're being stubborn or pushing something away, because it's almost like arm wrestling. And that can be something that the Taurus energy turns to. It's like, well, I'm not going to do this. Let me just arm wrestle it to see if it will go away or to see if I will dominate. But with Uranus will dominate. So be smart, be wise, be aware of your own brilliance, and that the changes that are unfolding are about growth, are about moving you forward into a new manifestation or a new experience that chances are you're going to gain a lot from, because you're being forced into that direction anyways. So yes, these dynamic changes will continue on. And as I mentioned, I have done previous podcast episodes discussing Uranus and Taurus, especially since it's been in Taurus since 2018. So please check out my YouTube channel to find more of those podcasts if this energy is working with you personally, and if it is an astrological energy that you'd like to explore more. It is important to have a heads up about how this energy is working with you, because it is so surprising and unexpected. It's often the Uranus energies that catch us off guard. But if you know where it is in your chart and how Uranus is interacting with other planets or points in your chart, you're going to at least understand what is meant to shift and change at this time. And you'll also want to have a heads up into how these energies are unfolding for you in 2025. So be sure to check out my 2025 Soul Growth Astrology program, where we go in to more specifics here of Uranus, in addition to Neptune, Pluto, the 4 4 eclipses of the year. It's important to note where all of this is happening for you because this is such a big time. 2025 is such an important year that you are equipped with getting a heads up. That's one of the beautiful gifts of astrology. And it's also meant to help you understand more about your chart so that you can be more of your own energy master. Astrology guides you into your energy so that you can understand what this lifetime is about for you, what you're learning, healing, overcoming, how you're growing. And when you look at it through the lens of a calendar year, you at least can see, okay, this is where I'm going to have my biggest growth. This is where my life is most likely going to change the most. And you're going to start to notice themes. And we have strong themes this year in the Pisces and Virgo axis, because of the eclipses and because the North Node and South Node have just moved into those 2 astrology signs. Plus, the big shifts are occurring as the outer planets all move into masculine signs. They're moving into fire and air signs. And then we'll have Jupiter move into a feminine side, the soft, nurturing energy of Cancer. And that happens in June. So please check out this program because it's designed to help you be in charge of your life, be in charge of what is unfolding for you, and to help you be your own astrologer. I'll put the link and the coupon code below the podcast here, especially since the discount is only available for a short amount of time. So I will be back on Wednesday to discuss the weekly energies, and we will keep rocking and rolling through this very big year. You can find all of my latest courses and offerings over at mollymccord.online. And thank you so much for joining me for this podcast where I release a new episode for you every Monday and Wednesday. Wishing you a beautiful day ahead, wherever in the world you may be. And as always, thank you so much for taking time to connect with me, and I'll see you back here soon.